Look, let's get into the match review. And I think that when you're looking at the two teams out on the pitch yesterday, I mean, Spurs, I mean, we were clearly depleted yesterday. I think it was depleted instead of actual direction from Antonio Conte to leave Skip on the bench, Lucas on the bench, Reguilon on the bench. I mean, you know, I was coming into this game quite confident, thinking that we can nick something, maybe a draw or something like that. But as soon as you see the lineup, you know which way it's going to go, don't you?
I wasn't confident of getting anything. Even though Chelsea were in bad form, even though we had a last-minute winner with Bergwijn, I wasn't confident of getting anything in this game. I knew Chelsea were going to turn up, and it was going to be a case of maybe a bit of luck or riding out the storm if we were going to get anything from this game. And it looked like in the first half, you know, the way we set up, it was clearly to frustrate Chelsea, wasn't it? Two fullbacks on either side, Sessegnon, Davis, Tanganga and Doherty on each side. Then you got Sanchez and Dyer in the centre, backed up by Højbjerg and Winks. It's like, how much more defensive do you want to go? We barely had a sniff going forward. We had to pick our chances to kind of go on the attack every single time. It was kind of just Tottenham sitting deep, waiting for our moment, which came right at the end of the first half, which was, we'll get into it in a minute. But in terms of how we set up, that I think Conte just went, look, I don't think we can go toe-to-toe with these people, with this team. I don't think we're good enough with especially with the players available to try and out-football them. So we're going to have to try and frustrate them. We're going to have to try and go ultra-defensive, and that's what he tried to do. And you know, for the first 45 minutes, it nearly paid off, but unfortunately, it got found out in the end.
Yeah, quality shone through in the end, didn't it? And
although one thing I would say, by the way, quickly is, especially in the first half, I thought there are actually a few opportunities where if it was Adama on the pitch instead of someone like Doherty, we could have got up the pitch a lot quicker and actually been a lot more dangerous. But because we had Doherty there, every time we got the ball to him, he either he didn't have confidence to take on a man, or he knows he can't take on a man. And he wasn't able to exploit the space which someone like Adama or even an Emerson or someone else with a bit more pace maybe could have. And that was a big disappointment. But I think the tactic Conte had, if we had different profile player on the pitch, it could have worked a lot better.
Yeah, yesterday was just highlighted the fact of what we keep banging on about, the state of our squad. Anything, a few injuries and we're out on our legs, and that showed yesterday. But I thought we held our own in the first half. We were giving as good as we were getting in some ways, and that chance comes right at the end of the first half where I think it was Sessegnon plays a really nice ball into Harry Kane. Harry Kane turns Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva drops to the floor like he's been shot, and Harry Kane slots it in the bottom corner. I mean, I just don't understand why that goal was disallowed. I just don't get it.
It was an absolute disgrace, the decision. He barely touches Thiago Silva. It is not a foul in any way, shape or form. Thiago Silva's completely bought that. All ends up, he's completely bought that foul, and he's conned the referee, I think, pretty much. If any other player, all over the pitch, if that happens, people are calling him a diver. People are saying he's gone down easy. People are saying he's looking for it. But because Thiago Silva is a defender's done, all of a sudden he's clever. He's
that's what I was
smart.
Say. Like, why when Harry Kane goes down a bit easily, when Harry Kane backs into defenders and stuff like that, everyone, the whole Premier League is together. Even the pundits going, "Oh, this guy's a disgrace. Why is he doing that?" Blah blah blah. Thiago Silva does that, goes down by someone literally blowing on him, and everyone's calling it clever. I just don't understand it.
I think that's just the narrative in these kind of situations when a striker tries to get a decision like that. They're not seen as clever, seen as cheating. But if you're a defender, it's smart, it's clever. I don't know why the narrative is different for each position. I'm quite confused, but that seems to be the situation. I did think he was clever, I agree, but why is Kane not clever if he does the same thing? That's what I don't understand. I think he literally gets lightly brushed by Harry Kane, goes over like a sack of potatoes, and the referee buys the foul. I think VAR should probably have overturned it, but they didn't see it as clear and obvious, which I kind of understand, because there's a bit of contact, but wasn't enough for a foul. I think the referee was too whistle happy, and the most annoying thing is he gives a foul for that, and the free kick Chelsea got for their second goal wasn't even a foul. And he blew up for that one, and obviously they get the second goal from it. So there's a big frustration when it comes to that. But you know, if that goal goes in, that plays right into our game plan, and not only does it give us more confidence and something to hold on to in the second half, also probably worries Chelsea a bit, because they've been spending 45 minutes knocking on the door with no answer. And if they go into the second half 1-0 down, they probably need a rethink, and maybe they change things up, or maybe they maybe a little bit of panic or anxiety comes into their play. But because the goal gets ruled out, and then not only does the goal get ruled out, but a minute after half time they score, they go 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden the game plan's completely out the window.
It's classic, isn't it? Classic Stamford Bridge things happening yesterday. But you know, as soon as the second half starts, like you said, they score the goal, and you know, it was clear night and day between the two sides, wasn't it, in that second half?
Yeah.
And they laid siege upon our goal. They took domination of the game, and there was only one winner in that second half, to be honest, and they were the much better side. You've got to say that.
Yeah, I think actually when it was 2-0 down, but once we brought on Lucas and Skip, there was a period where we were rallying a bit, and we started to put them under a bit of pressure. You know, Kane
was done by then, pretty much.
You know, Kane had that corner, we'll say, from the corner, and Bergwijn had a couple of opportunities which he didn't make the most of. And I think we started to get back in the game a bit after those two subs, which was even more frustrating, because when the free kick was lined up, those two subs were ready and waiting to come on, and we couldn't hold out for them to come on. Once the second goal goes in, it is pretty much game over, because Chelsea, with how defensively solid they are and the quality they have, they're not giving up a 2-0 lead. It's going to be near on impossible to get 2 goals off this Chelsea team in quick succession like we did against Leicester. It's a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
So it is pretty much game over. At 1-0, obviously the game was still open, and we were going to make the changes that could have gained us a bit more control. But at 2-0, it's going to be very, very tough. And I think Chelsea, once that first goal goes in, Waldy from Ziyech, you got to say, massive bit of quality.
Waldy from Ziyech, but I thought that who was it on the right hand side? Was it Tanganga that completely lost?
Yeah, because he was on a yellow. He was on a yellow, and he got
lost Hudson-Odoi, didn't he?
Because he was booked. I think he was worried about it.
Yeah.
And that's what Conte was saying after the game. He said Tanganga getting yellow was significant for his performance, and I agree with that. I think, first of all, I think it was very harsh to give him a yellow when he did, but I think his performance definitely got worse after he was booked. So I think he lost a bit of aggression in his game that was maybe quietening, silencing Hudson-Odoi in the opening half an hour or so. But once he got booked, he became a bit hesitant. He didn't want to go full-blooded into a challenge. He knows one mistimed challenge and he's off. And he didn't want to make the same mistake he made, you know, when he played Palace early in the season. So, but his performance was hurt by it. But it's different, because I remember, wasn't it, against Man City? He was booked early on, and his performance was brilliant.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
So it was, and this time it was a bit different.
Yeah, it was different games. I mean, the thing is, with that game against Man City, it was first game of the season. There's talks about him going on loan, and he puts on an amazing performance. You know, confidence was high. In this game, you know, confidence is low. He's been putting in some poor performances in the last 3-4 games. So these things can happen. If you get booked early, I expect him to go into his shell, to be honest. But the referee did us no favours at all yesterday. Like we said, that chance in the first half, which should have been a goal, the Tanganga yellow card. I mean, time and time again, this ref was just shocking yesterday. And to be honest, this ref has been shocking all season. You look back at the Spurs-Liverpool game. I know it went in our favour, this decision, but Kane should have been sent off in that game. And I remember a few decisions in that game where the ref was just terrible. I mean, the quality of this referee really needs to be looked at. Do you not agree?
I mean, you can look at the past 2 games. I don't know about his overall record, but I could definitely say yesterday I didn't think he had a very good performance. I think definitely the free kick for the second goal wasn't a free kick. I think there's a clean challenge by Dyer, which went against us. I think the goal,
that one as well. Bloody hell!
I think the goal was a disgrace. I think he should have let it play out and then have it gone to VAR. I don't think VAR would have intervened, because I think it's a goal. But I think because he disallowed it, I don't think there was enough evidence from VAR to say there was no contact. I think if there's any contact, VAR has to go to the referee's decision, unfortunately.
There was also another moment in there as well. A lot of people that did the rounds on social media last night about Doherty should have been sent off with a...
Yeah, I haven't seen that again. I haven't seen that again.
I haven't seen the video, but I've seen the stills, which is very hard to tell if it's a red card or not.
No, stills are never good to
Exactly. That's why I can't really comment, because I've only seen the stills. But from the still, it does look like it could have been a sending off, but it's very hard to tell in terms of, because video can just look a lot different. But in terms of individual displays yesterday, I thought our best players, the 3 standout performers yesterday, were Kane, Bergwijn and Eric Dyer. Eric Dyer coming straight back into the team, showing what he's all about. I thought he was the most competent defender on the pitch yesterday. Bergwijn looking like a man with confidence. He was getting the ball on the half turn, running at the defence, causing Chelsea problems. And Harry Kane was just doing Harry Kane things yesterday, wasn't he? I mean, the guy's playing at a top level at the moment, Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Those 3 players I thought were outstanding yesterday, but the rest of them left wanting a bit.
Not on his level. And I, as a few people have said, I felt bad for Harry Kane yesterday, because I felt whenever he got the ball, he was a touch of class, as usual. I think he was a level above the rest.
Were just so isolated up front. It was just them two taking it to Chelsea pretty much.
On the counter-attack, that was it. I don't know, obviously, I don't know whether it was a tactic or whether just Doherty wasn't able to keep up with them, and Sessegnon was obviously not... Actually, Sessegnon, to be fair to him, a couple of times provided a bit of a width.
There was
one where he shot, which obviously went out for a throw or something.
Yeah.
That he got him behind then, and obviously for the goal.
Mr. Kane, yeah.
So a couple of times Sessegnon was actually able to help, but Doherty was nowhere. Not that, we're literally playing Doherty, not a right wing back. We're literally playing a right mid. But that was definition of defensive winger. I don't think Doherty, either he couldn't get forward or he was instructed not to go forward. I'm not sure which one, but either way he wasn't getting forward. And it was literally, I would say, Kane, Bergwijn and Sessegnon against their whole defence. And it was more often than not just Bergwijn and Kane. And Bergwijn, I think, in the little scraps he got, he made the most of them. It was tough for him. I thought a few times he was giving Thiago Silva a bit of trouble, dribbling around him, also getting him behind, getting good breakaways. He got him booked, I think, didn't he, as well in the first half, which I think Silva could have been lucky to stay on the pitch, considering he made 2 fouls after being booked. So could have got off the pitch. Harry Kane, a few times on the breakaway as well, was being very, very dangerous. Chelsea were, he's being a bit deep, looking for the run of Bergwijn, didn't quite find him a few times, and obviously did really well for the goal. Good finish. But surrounded by players who are not on his level, unfortunately. I thought Davis was a lot worse at left back than he is at left centre back. I think Sanchez did some good things against Lukaku, but also some really nervy things. I remember in the first half, there was one moment, there was no one around him, and he just boots it straight up in the air for no reason. It was a ridiculous moment from him, that one.
So Sanchez got spun by Lukaku a few times.
And he also got spun as well by Lukaku, especially, I think, for there was a shot which he had off Lloris in the second half, and he completely spun Sanchez in that moment. Yeah. I thought Tanganga, after the yellow card, really badly struggled. I thought Doherty, I didn't mind him too much in the first half because he was clearly told to just defend. But in the second half, I thought he was dog shit. I thought he was so bad, especially in that last half an hour where we actually had the ball a bit and we were getting forward quite a bit. Every time we gave it to Doherty, it broke down. Every single time we gave the ball to Doherty, he was giving it away. He couldn't get the shot off. And it was I didn't even want him to support the attack because he was a waste of time.
Isn't that the rule pretty much for the most part since he's joined us? That's pretty much what's been happening with him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just Doherty. It's just Doherty, but...
He was so... And I just felt bad for Kane, giving the ball to Doherty and it just being rubbish.
Yesterday, though, with the kind of knocks and stuff that we had going into this game.
Yeah.
I mean, we were fighting an uphill battle that the hierarchy have put us into because of producing this squad for us. I mean, it's just... It was a losing battle from the beginning yesterday with that team that we were playing.
That's why Conte tried his best to get a point out of the game, and it might have worked if things went our way, but unfortunately they went against us.
So many bad decisions in the game yesterday from the referee. It was unbelievable, and pivotal moments as well. Pivotal moments, like we say, the goal for us, the free kick against us, a couple of red card decisions. Thiago could have got sent off. Yeah, fair enough. Doherty could have got sent off, but that might have helped us. But,
also the fact that we had two, not decision wise, but in terms of how the game went. Also the fact that literally as Chelsea were lining up that free kick, we have 2 subs on the bench ready to come on, and then we concede straight, and we can see that goal. And if we would have seen that free kick, the 2 subs come on, and who knows? Because I actually did think once those 2 subs came on, we did gain a bit of control back in the game.
How many times did we see that under Jose Mourinho?
So many times.
How many times where, you know, he's getting subs ready or he's just put subs on and bam, they score straight away.
Yeah, a number of times. So that was also a big source of frustration. But who scored? Silva, who could have been off. And also Silva was one who scored just after he conned the referee out of giving a foul against Kane. So that was also very, very frustrating. But you got to say, yeah, for sure, Chelsea were the better team. They have the better players. I think that was evident on the pitch. I mean, when you got Sessegnon and Doherty as your wingers to try and hurt Chelsea, what are you expecting? You know what I mean? What are you expecting? Oh, like, I don't think if Conte had all his players available, you know, he does that. But that's just what he had to deal with. Yeah. And I think he did the best he could. And I think, again, Chelsea's quality shone through, and that was just the reality of the situation. I wouldn't, again, you could be angry at Conte for being ultra defensive, blah blah blah, but
I don't think you can, though. I
just don't think you can blame him.
You can't blame Conte for yesterday. It's the situation we were put in with the state of the squad. That's the honest truth about it. I mean, we're talking about players that are in our starting 11 in Skip, Lucas and Reguilon all would have started yesterday if they were match fit. They weren't match fit, and we know what happens. Conte has said it time and time again. If 1 or 2 players are out from our first 11, we're in trouble.
Exactly.
He said it before the start of the game yesterday. You know, we're in a state. What were the words he said? We're in a state of emergency.
Yeah,
something like that. And you know what? For us being in a state of emergency, I was actually proud of us after that first half performance, but we just couldn't keep it up for 90 minutes.
No, unfortunately not. And it's not just we couldn't keep it up for 90 minutes. They scored a worldie. You know, there's nothing you can do about that. You can say, oh, you can get tighter or whatever, but when a player just pings it in from that range and with that precision right into the side netting top corner, like, no one can do anything about that when it's that kind of quality. That is just a special goal from a talent, which obviously you shouldn't give him that kind of space on the edge of the box with someone like Ziyech, but that's a special goal. So sometimes you just got to hold your hands up and say the quality, you know, we can't match that at the moment. That's just the reality of the situation, unfortunately. So I feel bad for Conte and Kane and our good players yesterday. Look, but as well, it wasn't our first 11. If we had our first 11 out, it could have been a different game. Unfortunately, we only had what we had on the pitch, and I didn't expect anything less. But it doesn't change for me. That result doesn't change my goals for the season or where I think we can head. I think I always knew after Wednesday. I said after Wednesday, look, if we lose on Sunday, then we lose, and I don't think it's going to be that detrimental to us, because I still think we're in a very strong position in the league, and I haven't changed that opinion.
In terms of the league position, right, do you think that we got away with one this weekend, just because Arsenal drew with Burnley and West Ham obviously dropped points? I know Man U, they played Man U, but, you know, with West Ham dropping points and Arsenal both dropping points on the same weekend that we played Chelsea, we did get away with one a bit this weekend, didn't we?
You could argue that, but that's the thing. Arsenal, though, I think probably had the worst weekend, because drawing at home to Burnley, bottom of the league, Burnley, is a very, very detrimental result, considering we got Chelsea out of the way now, and they've still got Chelsea to play and a few others to play. So I think when you get that kind of result against a top 3 team like we did, you're expected to lose. But Arsenal, that's massive 2 points drop for them. Massive. Like, we haven't played Burnley yet. So they've played Burnley twice, and we are yet to play Burnley. So that's 2 big games. We've definitely got big potential for points to play coming later in the season. I think in terms of league position, I think the games in hand are crucial. I know they're not the easiest. Brighton away, Burnley away, and obviously the North London derby as well. But also, they're not games where you definitely say, oh, we can't win those. Like, we can definitely win them, especially having, you could argue, Leicester away was one of the harder games in hand, and we got 3 points in that game. So definitely, I'm hopeful that if we can get some signings, hopefully we get some signings. We're going to have Romero, we're going to have Son back. If we have 1 or 2 signings as well, that'll be positive. So I'm hopeful going to second half of the season, we can definitely have a much better second half than we did first half, 100%. If we do, and also you got to remember as well, Kane is in fine form now, which he wasn't in the first half of the season.
Be back.
Exactly. So there are reasons to be hopeful. We're not going to be playing Chelsea every week, you know.
Not only that, we got the best manager in the top 4 race as well.
Exactly. So we're not going to be playing Chelsea every week. So it's not. I know we've lost 3 times in a month, and it was pretty clear the gap in class between the sides in all those 3 games. But thankfully, we don't need to be better than Chelsea to get top 4. We need to be better than Arsenal, Man United, and West Ham, and I think we're capable of that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that I think this break has come at a good time for us. I think it's come at a really good time for us. Give us 2 weeks now to get our players fully back. Conte can use it as a bit of a mini pre-season as well, which he didn't have obviously at the beginning of the season. Get Sonny fit and firing. Get Dyer and Romero.
Well, Reguilon's gone on holiday, I've seen, so I don't know about mini pre-season.
Well, maybe in the week, maybe they'll go away for a week and then they'll have a week of hard, intense training. But look, they need a break. They need to step away for a little bit. We need to get our squad fully fit, and hopefully Conte can bang in his ideas over the next couple of weeks to his players, and we'll come back strong for the second half of the season for it. We got 2 winnable games in the next 2 games in Southampton and Wolves at home. So if we can get back our fully fit squad, even without signings, and let's say just the Dharma truck comes in, I still think we can make top 4 just because we haven't had our full squad the whole season. Sonny is coming back, who's going to be a big game changer. The defence as well. If we can keep the defence to Davis, Dyer and Romero for the remainder of the season, that's a good back 3 to move forward for the rest of the season. So if we can stay injury free, I think we can do it.
Well, I think Conte's shown, you know, even with Dyer out and with Romero out, we were still able to have some solid displays in defence. We were still able to defend okay. So imagine having Dyer back in and Romero back in. It's going to make our defence a lot stronger. So that's a reason to be cheerful. I think yesterday's game, as much as people don't want to hear it, I think it's just one of those games you've got to, I know it's Chelsea away, Derby's a big game, but you just got to put it behind you. You just got to forget about it. It's one of those games where we're beaten by the better side. We're never expected to get anything out of yesterday, and we can be angry you like about how we set up and how we attempted to get a point, but unfortunately that's just where we're at the moment. So I think for me, put it behind us. We've got bigger, better, more winnable games coming up in the league, and I think for sure top 4 is well and truly on. I think we're definitely, for me, in the league position right now. Would I swap our points total on games played for anyone else's in the top 4 race? No, I wouldn't. So I would rather be in our position than anyone else's. So even with a defeat yesterday, I still think we're in a very good position.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our match review of the game yesterday.